Hey guys, my name is Jon Flaming and this is my studio. It's a small space, but one that works pretty well. Here's my easel where I've got a big painting I just finished. It's an oil on canvas. On that side of the studio, I've got all my prints and fulfillment packaged and wrapped up in there. Each print that I send out, I do an original drawing on each end. So there's a cowboy on that end and then a cow skull on that end. All around the studio, there's lots to look at, little vignettes and things to see like cow skulls and flags and hats, and there's a tumbleweed up here on this old shutter. It's kind of visual overload, but for me, I love the colors, the textures. All these things are things that influence me. All my color comps are created on the computer. This is actually a picture of the painting right there. For good reason, I've called this series Modern Cowboy. There's something very pure about the cowboy, the cowgirl. There's just this integrity piece, this character piece that goes along with that, with most of these guys and gals, and it's very attractive. And then just the whole world that they lived in, I think is super cool. The spirit of the West for me is it's freedom, it's wide open spaces, it's opportunity, it's this gritty, tough, independent spirit. When you think of spirit of the West, you think of guys like Jon Wayne. For sure. We raised our kids watching Jon Wayne films, so we love his movies, but people are desperate for a hero. He is this bigger than life figure. Plus he was a man of integrity and character. He was a man of his word. He loved the people around him. He was a great guy, and people go, I like that guy. And plus, by the way, he's also an actor. He's a great actor. So what's not to love about Jon Wayne? That whole idea is really a springboard for this modern cowboy thing, because really what I'm creating are these heroic figures, women and men that are deeply entrenched in the West. I've heard people say, I'm just waiting for inspiration, and very gently just say, hey, well, you can't wait for it. You got to go work for it. That's the grittiness of it. That's where, and Jon Wayne was the same way. He was one of the hardest workers. Jon Wayne was definitely full of grit, for sure. So grit for me means really just this dogged determination to never give up, keep moving forward. When I get knocked off, bucked off that horse, yeah, it hurts, it stings, but dust myself off and I get back up and I keep riding. In life, it doesn't matter what you're doing. I mean, grit and determination in any pursuit or passion, I think is absolutely essential if someone is going to make something of themselves. And certainly, you know, Jon Wayne was one of the best examples of grit that's ever lived. And that's what I encourage these younger artists, is to be gritty about their work, is don't give up on that. Maybe take a break from it, but come back to it. Don't give up on that idea or that goal or that passion just because you had a setback. That determination piece to stay after something, that's where the payoff is. And you see it in Jon Wayne, his work. I mean, he was, again, one of the hardest working guys in Hollywood. And look where grit, determination, the willingness not to ever give up, look where it got him. You know, he did great things. He did great things. And he never gave up. His body gave out. His body gave out, just like all of our bodies are eventually going to give out. And cancer is a terrible thing. It's a terrible thing. He never gave up. His body just gave out. I wanted to really reimagine the Western art genre, but in a simpler, more stripped down, more graphic way that, again, I think goes from modern, contemporary, all the way to folk art, outsider art, primitive art. It kind of is a mixed bag of all those things. It goes back to the Jon Wayne movies, and the old Westerns, and I'm sure it's because it was from my generation, but these heroes in those movies, those, especially from the West, those really resonate with me. And I think people are looking for this hero, this heroic spirit or whatever, and I think it really resonates. And I think that's why the West, it's romantic, it's mysterious, it's bigger than life, it's gritty, and I think all those things really resonate with our culture. People want to lock arms with something that is good, has integrity, has character. It says what it's going to do, is true. All those things that describe Jon Wayne, right? He was a man of his word, and he was a man of character, integrity. And I think people are looking for that. So when I started doing this cowboy thing, people responded, and obviously every artist's journey is very different, and where they come from and what their influences are very different, but that's what mine are, and this is what I've come up with to date. And it's ever evolving, just like any great artist. Jon Wayne evolved in his career as an artist, and he just wasn't a Western guy. He didn't just play a cowboy. The Quiet Man, I mean, that's a totally different character. The Iwo Jima movie, he was, he's military. And so he was ever evolving, ever, innovative with his creativity and willing to like step outside that cowboy thing and do something completely different. And I think artists, true artists, do that. They evolve. This will evolve in some way or another. It could go simpler, it could go more abstract, I don't know. But as of today, that's where it is right now, and I'm having a ball. I'm having so much fun doing it, and I think the reward for me is painting the picture and having something I can step back from and go, I really love that. But then the ultra award, the mega award, is when people say, I love that too. That is really cool. All right, guys, thank y'all for being in my studio today. Always appreciate being involved with what Jon Wayne is doing.